Alrighty. Welcome back to another weekly ritual. We're doing this thing live and direct all across the webs. Alrighty, first time ever, rocking 3 social networks live at the same time. Brand new in the history of the channel. Thanks for being here. I'm Keefe from ghostcultmag.com, or ghostcultkeefe if you follow me on socials. And thanks for being here. This is our weekly show, The Weekly Ritual, Ghost Cult's news show, rock and metal news, features here at the channel, major festival news, tour dates announced, major news stories of the week. I usually do something cool at the end. I unbox something. And anybody who wants to join in the channels, feel free to hit me up with questions. Anybody who joins us on YouTube here, hit us up with a super thanks or a super chat or a sticker. I will drink a shot of whiskey for every $5 donation. $5 will get the little shot. $10 or more than $5, I'll do the bigger shot, maybe 3 fingers or 2 or 3 fingers in this grown-up glass. But it's not about drinking. It's all about sharing the love, the weekly ritual news show. That's what we're here and we're all about. We just got to 3,000 subs here on YouTube, so thank you, YouTubers. We are now at 1,000 followers on TikTok. I am so appreciative of every single one of you out here. Thank you so much for being a part of our week. I hope you enjoy us being a part of yours. All the same. First and foremost, I addressed this last week. If you celebrated Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that jazz. This is the final live of the year. And as I said last week, Piercing Ken is here. What's up, Piercing Ken, over on Instagram? Great to see you. Piercing Metal NYC. Super proud of our peer and friend. As I said last week, and we say this every week, it's kind of a tough time in the world. The holidays are really rough on everybody. We're no stranger to that. I've had a very rough year personally, emotionally, mentally, financially, everything. But still we're here. And so, I want to express that, if you're struggling, you're not alone. You shouldn't have to go through anything alone. I know that a lot of people have not the best family situations or environments. And so, if you're looking for a friend or if you need a friendly voice or just someone to listen, feel free to reach out to us. Our DMs are open on Instagram, on Twitter, TikTok, whatever have you. We want to be there for people. So, it matters. It matters. If you're struggling, you matter, and it's going to get better. I just wanted to start the show right off the bat with that. So, as I said, this is the weekly ritual, and this is our rundown of news. I'm going to give you the lay of the land, the map, the roadmap to the show. And then you can decide to hang out with us and hear it all or bounce. But if you do find this and enjoy, please give us a like or a subscribe. Definitely, please donate. This is a fundraiser. We have a link in our bio and in our description here on YouTube. We had an accident at a festival a couple of months ago. We had about $4,000 worth of camera gear destroyed, audio recorder, relatively recently bought lens, all smashed. We did get some remuneration, some payment for some of the damage, but not nearly enough to replace the gear. We are going to buy new gear in the new year, probably Q1. And, just every little bit helps. Anybody who helps us, we appreciate it. But anyway, here's the script, the lay of the land. We do anybody who's passed away, we do a little remembrance at the start. We have one tonight. We go down our features, things that we did here at Ghost Cult that we're proud of, that maybe you missed, you would like to be interested in, major interviews, special features, articles, things like that. And then we head up with the festival news. We do a lot of major music festivals all over the world. Ghost Cult is a global website. We're not just the USA. The owners are in the USA, but we started in Europe, and we still have a huge staff in Europe, and we cover a lot of worldwide festivals that we're really proud of. So, again, I really appreciate there. What are my pronouns? My pronouns are he and him. But, I'm straight and not narrow, and we are an ally to everybody. Thanks for asking. Papa Smalls is here on TikTok. Word. Thanks for being here, Papa Smalls. Chris, man, I love you. I just want to send a happy holidays to you, the warmest holidays possible. So festival news, major tours, big stories of the week. And then, like I said, at the end of the show, I usually unbox something, or I pull out something that I got in the mail or something that was sent to me that I've been enjoying that maybe you also would enjoy. So that's what we do here at the show. And without further ado, let's get into the meat of the show. I'm doing my best here to keep track of 3 screens worth of people. So, and again, anybody who wants to join over on YouTube, I'm doing shots. You know, anybody who wants to donate here on TikTok, I'm not 100% sure how that works, but our fundraiser link is in our bio on Linktree and in the description on Insta. So anybody who donates on these channels, you're helping our fundraiser, and I deeply appreciate you. This just happened right before we went to air here. I just found out that Vivienne Westwood, maybe a name you're not familiar with, she was a crucial person in the formation of punk rock. She was the co-owner of the fashion shop with Malcolm McLaren, who is the original discoverer and the guy who put together the Sex Pistols. However you feel about the Sex Pistols, they were integral in the creation and the just the growth of punk, the explosion of the popularity of punk as a genre in the UK. And Vivienne literally helped create the style of fashion that today that punkers have been wearing for 45 years. She literally helped invent it. She was a fashion icon. She was a visionary fashion person. She literally dressed the band and everybody imitated their style. So she was there at the beginning, and she was 81 years old and she passed away. I don't know if anybody saw the Hulu TV show Pistol, which I wasn't personally upset about it. It's based on Steve Jones's biography, Pistol. And she was played by Tallulah Riley, who's a pretty good actress. I don't know if she was actually one of the better characters in the show, the most formed characters in the show, and very well written. She was kind of like the mother to the Sex Pistols. She not only clothed them, and she literally molded them as people, for better or worse. So very sad. Rest in peace, Vivienne Westwood. Moving on to the features here at Ghost Cult this week. We had a banger week we closed out the week super strong. I'm really proud. 10 years in the game here at Ghost Cult Mag, by the way. And we just keep getting better and better. And I just want to shout out my staff and everybody that works with us. I'm so proud of everybody. And we worked our ass off this year in a trying, challenging year for everybody. But we worked really hard. So here's some of the features you might have missed this week on the channel. We interviewed Maurizio Iacono. You know him from bands from Cataclysm and Ex Deo. He has a brand new band, another band called Invictus, and they put out a new album called Unstoppable. And it's just like you would imagine. It's death metal, but for the first time ever, he's in a band that's actually using melody and has a clean singer also. And they experimented with orchestrations and other things. So it's a really wide-ranging interview. Maurizio has 3 different businesses on top of all his bands that are integral to the music industry: booking, band management, other stuff. And it was a really fun chat. And then we broke down the album track by track, and he gave kind of his track by track feedback of the meaning of each song. Super cool. We've been doing a lot of those lately. And I'm really proud of this one. He's been a supporter of Ghost Cult from the beginning. I know him from before that. I saw him in Cataclysm when he was just the bass player before he took over as the lead singer. So, 30 years later in the game, that guy's still kicking ass. I love to see it. You love to see it. I also interviewed Sam Loeffler of Chevelle. Holy shit. I got to interview Sam. He's the drummer of Chevelle, in case you didn't know. He was at Aftershock Festival, which we covered. And I interviewed him for a few minutes, and we talked about his likes and, the pros and cons of playing a music festival when you're kind of a headline band in your own right. And he also talked about new Chevelle music they're working on right now, a brand new album for release at a later date. So super cool, really cool chat with Chevelle. Hope to connect with them again when we're closer to a new album to talk about the new album stuff. And Ken Pierce, word, thanks, kudos on 10 years. For real, man, I appreciate it. The hustle is real. That's right, sir. The hustle is real. We also just ran it today. I interviewed Justin Foley of Killswitch Engage, but did you know that the badass drummer of Killswitch Engage and also Blood Has Been Shed in his past history, has a solo instrumental progressive post-rock band called Lybica, named after cats, the ancient first forebearer of today's house cat. And it's a cat-themed band, basically, with cat artwork. And Justin's awesome. I go back ways with the Killswitch and Justin. We reminisced about me seeing Blood Has Been Shed like way back in the day in Connecticut. And we had a fun discussion about that record and his hopes and dreams for that band. Killswitch is playing their final brief mini tour of the year in Worcester tomorrow night in a hometown show, basically, for those guys. So Justin Lybica's, I think they're opening, I believe. And also Unearth is on that show. And Rivers of Nile, killer for the end of the year with 3 killer shows, hometown show tomorrow night. So super cool. We covered that show. There'll be some coverage coming up in the new year at Ghost Cult Mag. Also, end of year is the time of the year when Ghost Cult, we don't really do listicles as hardcore as other websites. A Daily is here. What's up? Marino June. What's up on Insta? Everybody here on TikTok, the font is really small and I'm not wearing my spectacles, so sorry if I can't shout you all out, but thanks for being here. Some of the comments were filtered to protect the community's experience. Awesome. I like the haterade. Bring it on. I don't mind. We get a lot of shit talk in the comments. It's cool. We've been around a long time. We're not thin-skinned. We can take it. If you have constructive criticism, bring that on also. But no problem. So end of year, we don't really do a lot of listicles. We are running a lot of staff lists. Chris Smalls is here. His list ran and got some cool feedback from fans and friends, as well as some major artists. We got Greg from Allegiant and Mike Scandato of Inhuman and The Last Stand, New York hardcore bands. Carolina from Castrator gave us her top 10 death metal albums of the year. We have other ones coming up from God Forbid and All Out War, as well as a bunch of other underground bands, as well as my list. So tune in to Ghost Cult socials, as well as our website, and check out all those end-of-year lists. We're also going to have some fun end-of-year posts that are going to run through the New Year's weekend. So, and then we'll start the slate clean Monday, kicking off 2023. Very exciting stuff. What else? We had a feature article this week written by Morgan Evans. Morgan Y. Evans is a recent addition to the Ghost Cult staff. He's been a blogger in his own right for many years with his own website. He came on to join us. He's done some band interviews. He's done some album reviews. And now he wrote an awesome feature article, a primer on noise rock, sort of underground bands, Unsane, Today is the Day, Ken Mode if you like a sludgy noise rock. Helmet would fall under this category for their earlier history. Melvins too. A lot of cool bands. Swans with Jarboe. So 8 select albums to start you off on your noise rock journey. And I thought it was really, really beautifully done. We got a lot of nice positive feedback from that. Ken Mode retweeted us on Twitter and was like very humbled to be included on our list. So check that out. There will be a link in the description when the videos are all over. There should be a link in our bio up right after the show. I'm really trying to read these comments, but I can't. Yep. All good. I have 3 cameras here. I got Instagram, TikTok in front of me, and YouTube. I'm doing my best. A lot of people Twitch, and they don't ever look at the camera. So I'm doing my best. Pyrefire is here. Homies in Pyrefire. Good to see you. Some badass noisy rock from New Jersey. Punk. A little bit of hardcore, a little bit of metal. Badass. Check them out on Bandcamp or wherever you stream your music. They're probably there. I'm also the co-host of a sister podcast to Ghost Cult, the Glacially Musical Pouredcast, as in pour a beer, metal, swearing, and vinyl. This week's episode is a Chaser episode. We just finished our last series, and our Chaser episode is a ranking of the best death metal bands of all time. You do not want to miss the fights and the debates that Nick Cameron and I had about this. Who is on the Mount Rushmore of death metal? Who would you put on the Mount Rushmore of death metal? Feel free to drop a comment. Also, this show is going to be a podcast at some point this weekend. We're a little behind on our podcasting episodes, but we're going to catch up this weekend, and this show will eventually be a podcast in case you don't have time to watch this in real time or, as a video. Moving on to the one last thing before I move on to the news, and I probably should take a sip of this seltzer because I'm getting a little parched. Getting a little parched here. Yep. Oh, thank you. I like my beard too. It took me years to grow this beard. Most of this shit usually looks like pubes. It took years to look like this. This is kind of awesome. I was given to me as a kind of an early Christmas present. This is a Funko of me. See the resemblance? Kind of a little red beard. You can't tell. There's also a little baseball cap that came with this guy. He's got a beer in one hand and a microphone in the other. This shit is on brand completely for me. It's pretty amazing. Shout out to my producer, Omar Cordy, and my dear friend, Rebecca Gassett, for giving this to me. Thank you. I'll put this back over here. Got a little bit of a new arrangement. The YouTube folks can see the whole desk. Unfortunately, on the other socials, you just get this little phone booth view of my chunky self. But you can kind of see my desk set up a little bit better now. I think the lights went out here for YouTube, so I'm going to plug this guy in for a second before I continue. But I was about to say, as we run down the end of the year, we're having a sale here at Ghost Cult. So I asked earlier about donations because we're trying to unfudge our lives. But if you got money, but you'd rather buy ads and promote something than just donate to us, we're running an end-of-year sale. A lot of our most expensive ads on the website are 50% off because our ads are going up on January 1st. We don't charge that much anyway. We don't promote that much stuff, but, we are part of the Blast Beat network, and we sell ads on our site. So if you're interested, DM me, get in touch, email me. There'll be a link in the description for that as well. Now that I had my sip, I'll take a second sip. It's a little chilly here in the Bay Area. I'm in the Bay Area now. I'm originally from New York. I've lived other places, but here in the Bay Area, it's rainy and cold. That's about the winter we get. So I'm in San Francisco now. Thank you. My voice is very clear. I appreciate you. I am using my awesome Fifine microphone and my awesome Sony headphones. This is just what works best for me. But yeah, enjoy that. Again, anybody who jumps in on YouTube and wants to give us a super chat, a super thanks, or a sticker, I will drink a shot of this whiskey for a $5 donation. Anybody donating more than $5, I will do this adult glass size. Holy shit. Last week we got 2 donations. I was wrecked by the end of this thing. And I have writing to do when this is over because the fun never stops at Ghost Cult. Now on with the show. If you stuck around this long, I admire you. Thank you. Now to the real news. Festivals, first and foremost. A gang of festivals. We are getting, at the end of our year, we're announcing stuff all through next year already. And so every week we run down these festivals all over the world. We cover a lot of these also. So check this out. Bamboozle Fest is a festival that used to run every year in New Jersey, and it was always buck wild. I'm just going to be honest. It's down toward Atlantic City in Baderfield. And they just dropped, they've been doing like the 12 days of, they're doing like the 12 days advent calendar of releasing bands for this festival. Max Smith, 1985 is here on Insta. What's up? Good choices there on the death metal bands, Pyre Fire, by the way. So let's see what else. They announced their first bunch of bands. So check this out. Saves the Day. The punk band is going to perform their album In Reverie in full and their greatest hits. Hollywood Undead, Elise, Black Bear, Cane Hill, Carnifex, Attila, Shallow Pools, I Set My Friends on Fire, Poor Stacy, and Freddie Dread, and a bunch more. Seems like a big mosh of metalcore, sort of trap rap, TikTok rappers, SoundCloud rappers, some, let's say, some of your more modern bands, younger generation bands, but it sounds like a fun time, gonna be honest. And then you got AC. If you go stay in AC, you have AC, Atlantic City to party, Jersey Shore, South, Jersey Boardwalk kind of life. So I think that's, there's a segment of audience that will love this. More bands to be announced soon. Also, I'm super stoked for this. The Stoner Doom nerd in me is excited. If you are not familiar with the heavy Psych Sounds label, let me introduce you. They are rad. They have a bunch of awesome stoner rock and doom bands, always high quality. They're one of those labels I just guarantee whatever they buy is going to rule, unless you just don't vibe with those genres. Then, of course not. But if you like those genres, you cannot fail with Heavy Psych Sounds. They have annual festivals all over the world. They are doing 2 in California in the spring, 1 in my backyard about 15 blocks from here at the outside of the Parkside, the famous club. And so it's going to be Heavy Psych Sounds Fest San Francisco and Heavy Psych Sounds Fest Joshua Tree. How cool would it be to go see some of these bands in the desert? Listen to this lineup of bands so far. So far announced: Weed Eater, Brant Bjork, Nebula, the Atomic Bitchwax from New Jersey, by the way, dual killer band, Hippie Death Cult, Witch Pit, Cosmic Reaper, and many more to be announced. So killer. They're both going to probably rotate, like one day here, one day, one day San Francisco, one day Joshua Tree, and then verse versa. So, see what else. They're also going to do a festival in Italy, and I think it may even be their first time ever in Italy. Italy, by the way, in case you didn't know, has an incredible metal community, and especially they do doom and stoner metal expertly. Their lineup, this is going to take place in Bologna, Italy. Let's see, Carmangia, Piemonte. Let's see, that's the location. Sorry. Here we go. Stone Jesus, Conan, killer band we've talked to. Great album out this year. Beelzebong, Black Rainbows, the return of Mesa, who was in a bus crash recently and all got injured. That's going to be their comeback gig, I think. Good luck to them. Tons, Giobia, Orion, Isaac, and many more to come. So that is a killer lineup. More festivaling. We've got a bunch of them. Modified Ghost. If you haven't heard of this festival, Western Canada, I'm looking at you. Vancouver, British Columbia, over 3 days in May. They've announced 2 of the days so far. We haven't talked about this festival yet, but there's a lot of chatter on metal Twitter and the metal webs all about this festival. It already looks dope, and they haven't even announced 2 of the days. Check out this lineup so far. That's taking place at the Rickshaw Theater. So May 18th to be announced. May 19th, Archspire, Beyond Creation, Allegion, the Homies, the Zenith Passage, the Hallowed Catharsis, and of Modern Architecture. That's just so far. Then, May 20th, TBA, to a TBD. May 21st, Yob and Elder. Psh, mic drop, I'm there. But also Chemist, Ruby the Hatchet, Hoop Snake, and Heavy Trip, and more to come. So that is so rad. If you like stoner doom, if you like this heavy riffs, death metal, technical death metal, doom, what else can they add? Like, that's already killer. And it's a cheap ticket. Honestly, I think the daily is like $50-$60 per day, or $150 for the whole weekend Canadian, which is like right now $175 US. Most of your American festivals are double or triple that amount. Just saying, I understand if you don't live in Vancouver, there's travel, but if you're in striking distance, this sounds like an awesome time. Let's see what else on the festival front. Here's a cool festival, Festival Au Lac, or Au Lac, in, I believe, Toronto, in Quebec somewhere. Another 3-day festival, kind of punk and metalcore. So far, the headliners have been announced: Pennywise, Lagwagon, Killswitch Engage. Not too shabby. I will share the link to that in case you're interested. Also, in the Netherlands in June, late June, early July, Pitfest, Mayhem, Madball, Terror, Voivod, Aborted, Exhorter, and an exclusive show, Full of Hell. That's a killer lineup right there. Alcatraz Festival in Germany has announced their 15th anniversary with Powerwolf, KK's Priest, that's KK Downing's band, with Ripper Owens, and Biohazard, and a bunch more. Biohazard is doing a whole summer in Europe on their reunion tour. Hopefully they're going to announce some shows here in the States. A couple more. Motorcultor Fest in France, also in August. Amun Ra, Carcass, Deicide playing Legion on their 30th anniversary tour. Terror again, Dog Eat Dog, Biohazard again, Abat, Carpenter Brute, Insomnium, Russian Circle, Zeal and Order, and many more. So many bands. Yep. I have all the band recommendations. We actually just did. So somebody on TikTok here asked about band recommendations for death metal. We have a feature on our site that ran a couple of weeks ago. That was the top 50 death metal albums of the year as curated by one of our writers. So we did a staff vote from 75 to 1, in which Machine Head was our album of the year. Voted on by the whole staff. It's not my picks. It's everybody. We have a staff of 50 or 60 people. And I think about 47 or 48 people actually got their votes in. So we voted Machine Head number 1 for the year overall, but a lot of killer bands. You can check all that out. We did a video. I'll link it here on YouTube above me when I rerun this later. But yeah, we did a feature on the top death metal albums of the year. And it was really, even I discovered some bands, so much stuff comes across my desk. I miss things. And so this particular writer is very clued into the death metal scene all over the world. And I thought it was really fucking cool. I'm going to throw that fucking cool in there. Dynamo Fest, last festival of the show this week to announce. Dynamo has added a bunch of new bands. Dynamo, always a fun time. Also in the Netherlands, where Ghost Cult was founded. In Flames is now the co-headliner with Megadeth, also added to the show. Prong, Bleed From Within, who has a killer new album out. The Boneless Ones right here from my backyard of the Bay Area. Skate punk crossover thrash with some legendary thrash metal people in the band. And a bunch more bands. So those are some fun things if you're all over the world to check out here in the States, Canada, all over. Now for some regular ass tours. That's what it says on the script. Regular ass tours. They got some New Year's Eve stuff going on the next few days. I'm not a big New Year's Eve person, but I might go to this next one. Twin Temple, which, by the way, I'm going to pull out my Twin Temple plushie I had ready just for this. This is Lady Baphomet, which I got earlier in the year when I saw Twin Temple open for Ghost. Twin Temple's doing 2 nights for New Year's Eve in San Francisco. It's going to be awesome. Let's all have a satanic orgy and hail Satan. They do a satanic ritual. They play their awesome doo-wop themed metal. It's not really that metal. It's doo-wop, but satanic themed. Metalheads seem to love them. They're a killer band. Fantastic performers. A lot of fun. Open up your mind. Check out genres that are not just the most brutal, awesome stuff all the time. Just, you got to have a change of pace. Also for New Year's Eve, if you like spooky goth shit, Unto Others is doing a New Year's Eve show in the LA area. It's going to be hosted by the metal ambassador and friend to Ghost Cult, Jose Mangin. And I think Vena, who's an LA area band, is going to open that show. Unto Others are amazing. I saw them open for King Diamond last year, and they were sick. And I just caught them again at Psycho Las Vegas, so they were amazing. Also for New Year's Eve, Tenacious D. Tenacious D are going to Love Her Gently and then So Hard. They are doing 2 nights, tomorrow night and New Year's Eve in Vegas. It's going to be nuts. Vegas is nuts anyway. Vegas on New Year's Eve, I can't even imagine how overdriven that's going to be. Just banana balls. Now to some more tours. Next week, Goat Whore is kicking off basically a year of tours all over the world. They're starting in their hometown of New Orleans. In the whole Southeast, they're playing. Then they're going all over the country, and then they're going over to Europe. So Goat Whore, their recent album is incredible. It's out on Metal Blade right now. Angels Hung from the Arches of Heaven. And just Goat Whore, support that band. They are so amazing and just unbelievable. Greetings to all of you on TikTok. What's up? God Forbid is going to play 2 shows next weekend in the beginning of January. One in their home state of New Jersey at the Starland Ballroom, and another at the Worcester Palladium. And I said Worcester because I used to live in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. So God Forbid, 2 more reunion shows. They really don't have anything else on the books yet for 2023 except these 2 shows and Lamb of God's Boat Cruise, the Headbangers Boat. So if you love that band and you're really jonesing to see them, you might have to go to get to those shows. But anyway, appreciate everybody trying to join as a co-host here on TikTok, but I'm just doing this. This is my gig, and I'm doing it solo. But I hang out with us, ask some questions. Again, join us on YouTube, where I might do a shot for a super thanks or a like, and I appreciate you all. Unearth has announced a huge tour of Europe. Unearth has a new album coming out. They're opening these Killswitch Engage shows this weekend. Unearth is just killer. Just a killer band. They're going to tour Europe with Misery Index and Year of the Knife. What a brutal show that's going to be. So you got like Unearth's crushing metalcore Really, they helped invent metalcore, honestly. Some of their early albums. Misery Index, one of the best technical death metal bands to ever do it. ASF 2002, what's up? Thanks for joining our weekly rock and metal news show. Hang out with us. We're doing a rundown of the news. And Year of the Knife, we're just a sick hardcore band. They're metallic hardcore. I think from Philly, the Philly or Delaware region. King Buffalo put out a sick album this year. Regenerator, stoner rock. I saw them. They were amazing. Kind of like an alien abduction themed album artwork. And they have announced a bunch of tours all over the country and in Europe. So catch King Buffalo if you like stoner rock. I might have mentioned this last week, but I don't think I got it in on the show. Meshuggah has announced a tour of Scandinavia. So if our friends from Europe are joining us 8 hours ahead, Pat Sheridan's here from Fit for an Autopsy. What's up, brother? Our interview is running very soon. I can't wait for everybody to see it. I appreciate you. Meshuggah, the Halo Effect, and then on different days, Scar Symmetry or Orbit Culture are going to open those shows. So that's sick. Very excited. You know, Meshuggah's new album, Immutable, is unbelievable. Halo Effect, which is basically the singer of Dark Tranquility with all ex In Flames members making basically classic In Flames sounding stuff. Unbelievable debut record. They're already writing songs for another record I heard. Unreal. This is interesting. And speaking of Fit for an Autopsy, so the Big Six, I thought this was like a joke when I first heard about this, but it's not a joke. It's actually happening. Six, they self-described metal boy band, but basically it's six, pretty famous deathcore singers, including Joe Bad from Fit for an Autopsy. Shout out to Joe, who's amazing and actually filled in for Lamb of God one show this year. Unbelievable job he did. So this is Lorna Shore's Will Ramos, Franz from Attila, Joe Bad from Fit, Left to Suffer's Taylor Barber, and Infinite Annihilator's Dickie Allen, and Tyler Shelton of Traitors, all doing like a super group of deathcore. They put out a humorous tongue-in-cheek cover of Mariah Carey's Christmas song, All I Want for Christmas Is You. I was like, oh, that's cute. Okay, fine. That's fun. But now they teased their first original song, and I like what I heard. It's, it's nothing too wild. It's nothing too, crazy, but I like what I heard musically. So if you're into deathcore, this is going to be on your radar for early next year. I think they're going to announce an EP very soon. They're teasing it out pretty well on social media. Here's a band, if you've been in California like I have, anywhere on the West Coast or even all over the country, there's a band called Hemorage. They are fiercely DIY. They play in a converted van as a stage, and they just drive up to places and play. They've been threatened with arrest. They've been ticketed 1 million times. Basically, they show up, and their show is like the after party for every metal show. Festivals. They drove down to LA for Motley Crue, and they were in Sacramento last Friday after Machine Head finished their tour at their final stop of the tour at Ace of Spades, where I have been a few times for some great shows up here. And they were driving home to San Francisco, where they live here in the Bay Area. They dropped off their drummer right by the freeway exit, right over here where I live. And they got crashed into by a car that was fleeing a crime scene somewhere else in the city. And they were lucky to be alive. They somehow escaped without injury, but their van and their gear is absolutely destroyed. And it was so destroyed that, like, you couldn't even show the photos on the internet without getting flagged because the car's mangled. They're okay. It's like a little converted van, like would be almost like a handicap van with a wheelchair thing. So that's why it's got like a bay where the drums sit and the guitars and bass play. Killer band, crossover thrash, a little bit of death, a little bit of hardcore, a little bit of thrash, a lot of thrash, just like the rest of the Bay Area. And Hemorage, that accident sucks. Their van is their life. That gear is their life. So they're kind of chilling for the holidays, reevaluating what's going to happen. And then they've launched a GoFundMe. We will link that in the description. Last week, we talked about Scattered Hamlet, a rock band from West Virginia who was in a van crash. So it's rough out there, man. Be careful. You can't predict someone crashing into you, but, you can wear your seatbelt. And, you do your best to keep safe and not get robbed and all these things. And these guys are amazing and fun. Like mosh pit on the sidewalk outside of a show. Fun. And I feel real bad for them. So if you can donate, please help them. In interesting news, Coutney Love of Hole and, actress and former wife of, the late Kurt Cobain from Nirvana. Coutney Love gave an interview. I don't think it's really getting talked about a lot. She was on the Mark Maron podcast, What the Fuck, the WTF podcast. I love Mark Maron. You might know him. He's a comedian. He's been in a lot of movies. He was in Joker. He's in Almost Famous. Lock the gates on these assholes. Lock the gates. That's Mark Maron. Played the manager of that venue where the band guitar player got electrocuted. So he has a podcast. He interviews comedians, musicians, everybody. And he interviewed Courtney in London, where she moved to. And she's almost finished with her long in the works new solo album. She hasn't really put out an actual solo album in 14 to 15 years. The last whole album was kind of a solo album for her under her own name. And she sort of reunited some of the band. And she's almost done with her new album, if you're interested. And she has written a song about Kurt Cobain. She's not sure she's going to release it. It's called Justice for Kurt. Whatever you think about her, it is what it is. But like, I think Courtney's a really great, interesting artist. She's super influential, whether you realize it or not. And she actually influenced Nirvana, and he was really obsessed with her, which is why he wrote so many songs about her, including a whole album. But yeah, she's trying to straighten her life out, and I wish her the best of luck with that. Metallica, because we can't stop talking about these guys. They dominated this whole year, Metallica. And every week there's some new Metallica thing. I give them a lot of credit for just staying relevant. Whatever you feel about them, I don't like Metallica. Forget Metallica. I don't care about them. I think the problem with my cell phone here is that the brightness is too low. There we go. Okay, now I don't feel like a vampire anymore. Needle Exchange is here. Papa Smalls was here. Thanks for being here, TikTok. I appreciate y'all. Tom Collins, 60. So Metallica. What's the Metallica news for this week? They have teamed up with Fender Play. Fender Play is an online guitar lesson school. During the pandemic, they gave away like free memberships to people to